Hey guys, welcome to the Conversation Starter Show, the show where we list, rank and tier all things football and invite you guys, the audience, to get in on the conversation by commenting and liking below. Now today we're going to be doing a pretty hard-hitting top 10 list here. We're going to be doing the top 10 football rivalries from around the world.
Yeah mate, but before we get started, make sure you click that like button, hit subscribe and check out all the amazing content they have on Football Worldwide.
That's right. Now, we're going to start us off here, number 10 list.
Here we go.
Okay, of our list here, should I say. This is a tough one, guys. The biggest rivalry in Portugal, but we're going to go Benfica versus Sporting.
Yes.
Okay, this one goes off. Okay, I've watched a couple of games of this. Now, the Portuguese league might not be quite as high on the list for people.
So the battle of the two greatest kind of feeder teams,
yes.
bigger clubs.
Oh, for sure.
Because the amount of quality these two teams are pumped out is probably second to none.
That's right, and they've got such a long rivalry. It's got to be, for me, in the top 10 list. And obviously, as we're talking about this, we're talking about the teams that, you know, worldwide, what makes the biggest biggest waves, okay, who is watching, what the rivalry is about, how long the rivalry is, so I think this one is number 10 for me.
Definitely, mate. Number 9, we're going to the biggest rivalry in Germany. We've got Dortmund and Schalke.
Of course,
okay?
yeah.
A lot of you guys will be thinking, hey, it's Dortmund and Bayern possibly, because they're maybe the two best teams.
Yeah.
But
biggest teams,
Tim and I looked into this locationally and the passion, the heat,
and the historical
history of it. It's Dortmund and Schalke. It's the biggest German rivalry.
That's right, yeah, and that's the thing. We've had to do some research this one.
Because obviously we haven't been around the world as much as others, and we haven't been involved in, especially like the Portuguese league and
and
those
quite a few leagues
in
we don't know
Germany,
as well. But Schalke and Dortmund apparently.
But this one, the next one, number 8, mate, is one you definitely do know very well.
Definitely do know about. Now, this is one that I have been to personally, so I can speak from personal experience here. But it's the Derby della Madonnina, if I pronounce that correctly. It's very hard.
Anthony, let us know.
Anthony, tell me how bad that was. Okay, my Italian's not great, but this is the Derby of Milan, okay?
Yeah, I just say the Milan Derby as
Derby.
An uncultured Australian boy.
That's it. So, Inter versus Milan, okay? It's one of the most famous derbies from around the world. Now, the reason this isn't quite as high is because it is a fairly civil, overall, a fairly civil rivalry, okay? So, I've been to the games. It's very heated in terms of, it's super competitive. There's so much noise. We make the massive banners against each other and things like that. Like, it's an incredible atmosphere, but it's not as violent traditionally. There has been a few incidences, but I think that's why it lowers it a bit. But, I mean, when you go to, say, worldwide fame of it, and two of the biggest clubs in the world, it doesn't get much better than, say, Milan versus Inter.
Especially because both clubs share the same stadium as well.
And they share the same stadium, which is
the most special thing about that is that it's a home game for both.
It's a home game for both, and it's an incredible thing. One of the best games of football you can watch. But number 8 on our list.
Awesome, man. For number 7, we're driving to Istanbul. And we're going Fenerbahce and Galatasaray.
Yes.
Okay, and I've probably butchered both those pronunciations. But some crazy things about this, man. We've got Asia versus Europe.
Yeah, so they're the way the same place in Istanbul
line goes.
But the continental line's actually Galatasaray is on the Europe side, and Fenerbahce's on the Asia side.
Unbelievable.
So it's continents versus.
Yes, so we've got continent versus continent, not only mate versus mate.
Yeah.
And I've seen a couple of Galatasaray matches, especially when Harry Kewell went there.
Yeah.
I'm one of the biggest Harry Kewell fans, as you are as well.
Course.
So I followed him, and it just goes off. The passion there is incredible. Yeah. So. Yeah, Fenerbahce, Galatasaray.
Now, a lot of heat in that one, that's for sure. Now, the next one I have for me, I'm going to go back to Italy again for us here, but we're going to go the Eternal City, Rome, the capital city derby, Lazio versus Roma.
Yeah.
Okay, and this one, I've got a good friend of mine from Italy. Shout out to Fabio, my man.
Oh, Fabio!
And he's a
pizza making genius.
He's a genius, that guy. He used to be he's a massive Roma fan, but used to go to the stadiums and be involved with all that kind of stuff. But the rivalry is huge. It's probably the most heated game in Italy, I'd say. It's just, I think it's because it's who owns the city essentially. Because Roma actually started after Lazio, which is the area Rome's in. So they actually started first, but there's huge rivalry between them about who's the real Roman team, and it's one of the best cities in the world. So
especially from one of the historically proudest kind of
most prideful
cities of all time.
That's
like the Romans in general, they've got that pride inbuilt in them.
That's exactly right. Yeah,
2000 BC.
Late history. Yeah. So Lazio and Roma, great game to watch. Check it out if you ever get a chance.
Yeah, man. So where are we going next? Then we're going to Greece.
We're going to Athens, mate. Athens in Greece.
You take this one, bud.
Okay, I'm going to go Olympiakos and Panathinaikos. I can never get this name.
Panathinaikos.
I can't get my Greek's even worse than my Italian mate. Okay, so this is one of the biggest game in Greek football. Okay, and again, Greece league is not one of the biggest leagues in the world by any means, but this rivalry is worldwide famous. Everyone knows. Like if you've seen pictures of this or video of this, they go ballistic. It's such a heated rivalry and so much intensity in this game. It's worth the watch just to like hear the crowd and see the crowd. So that's a very definite top 10 football rivalry from around the world is Olympiakos or Panathinaikos. I can't get it.
I'll take it, mate. I'll take it. Number 4, we're going to. It's a strange one here because it's not the Liverpool derby.
No.
Nor is it the Manchester derby.
No.
But it's Liverpool versus Man U.
Northwest derby.
Yeah. So it's I know locationally it's not a kind of a derby, but for us it's the biggest kind of match in English football because from the 90s onwards, we'd say they're the 2 biggest and best teams, or the most iconic, or the most
well-known,
supported teams.
Yeah.
So when Liverpool plays Man U, it's a big deal.
It's huge.
You know, and like there's the whole race for the titles and everything like that. Who's going to have the most titles? And
it's huge rivalry.
I'd say from the 90s onwards, it's been Liverpool versus Man U is the biggest match in English football.
That's for sure. And I think it started as well. Like I can't remember which city because I haven't actually been to cities, but one of them was a port city first, and then the other one became another city, and they started taking their jobs. And so it goes all the way back.
They're
to
both
the
working class cities.
Working class port city. So the Manx and the Scousers hate each other. And this kind of is the pinnacle of that rivalry. Is the Liverpool versus Manchester United derby.
And then as we said, it's the pinnacle of English football for a long time as well. The 2 kind of greatest clubs in England, title-wise and historically, and also the race for the titles, and usually producing the best football. So.
Oh, for sure. That's right. Now, number 3 here, we're going to go back to all the way to South America. All the way to South America. To Argentina. It's going to be Boca Juniors versus River Plate. Now, the top 3 are so close, we could have put them anyway, but this game is like more than football, okay? Like these next 3, they're just huge. They mean more than just a game.
It's not just a football game.
No, it's not. And I mean, this is the biggest game in South America, and obviously one of the biggest games in the world, but it's a game that, nobody I know in Australia watches the Argentine League, but we know Boca Juniors with River Plate goes off. The fans go off. It's aggressive. It's intense. It's one of the best games you can watch. So if you haven't seen one, definitely check out the derby game there. It's incredible. Okay?
Awesome, man. Number 2, we're going to Scotland. And we're going to the Old Firm. We're going Rangers versus Celtic. This one was so tough for Tim and I to not put number 1.
Purely for the hatred and the
hatred, it's history, it's the religion in there as well, the Protestants versus Catholics and everything about it. I had a granddad, I had a granddad who was pretty much from Glasgow and all that stuff as well. So
played for Scotland. So he knows all about
I grew up kind of knowing about, you go for Rangers, you don't like Celtic. And it's just such a crazy time in Glasgow, and they share obviously a really pretty tough city in Scotland.
That's it,
in Glasgow, and for a long time, this was far beyond football.
Oh,
and
sure,
it's hatred and it's passion like you don't see really anywhere else. So
and the only thing we can say is it's probably only not number 1 just because it doesn't mean as much in terms of like on a footballing scale.
On a worldwide footballing scale, it's a very much like
to win the Scottish title is not as big a deal as a lot of these other
teams. It's very much
go.
just a Glasgow thing.
And
it has kind of mellowed out a little bit over the last
it doesn't feel
few
quite
years.
as much.
It's not as aggressive and stuff as it definitely
And I
used
think
to
the
be.
other thing it goes against as well is they play like 4 times a year just in the league, so it kind of feels like it takes a little bit of the specialness out of each game just because it's quite common. There's not many teams in the Scottish Premier League.
But the history of it, you can't go.
And our boy, you guys know, Socceroos player Scott McDonald, mate of ours, and we actually work with him at school. But he, he played for Celtic, and he's explained it to the kids at school, like the intensity of that rivalry in Glasgow, walking around after games.
As a Rangers fan growing up my whole life, Scotty McDonald actually was the reason I started watching Celtic
more,
and then Tommy Rogers started playing for him as well. So
a few Australian boys there. So
and then Ange's coaching him. So the Aussie connection gives me a little soft spot for Celtic. But
and it's just that Irish connection. Like I know they're Scottish team, but I think Celtic started from Irish immigrants as well. I think that's where the history comes from. But they're just one of those teams. Celtic, it's world famous. If you go to like Boston and America and stuff, there'll be a lot of Celtic fans. Australia's a lot of Celtic fans. So Celtic's a huge club. Rangers huge club.
Boston Celtics for a reason.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So now number 1 though, we've put them number 1 just above these guys only because this is the pinnacle.
Like It's almost like the footballing world stopped to watch this match, especially
like 20 years, 15 years.
Yeah, the 5 years ago and 10 years ago, it was just such a big thing.
It's the pinnacle of football, and it's Real Madrid versus Barcelona. Has to be. Now, the reason is, like we said, the whole world stops to watch this game, particularly the last few years. It's definitely going to die off, I think, at the moment, just because both teams have gone.
Yeah, they lost the star
powers. Lost a bit of star power, but I'm sure it'll get back up there. But the thing,
the 90s and
90s,
early
2000s,
to kind of mid 2000s, it was
huge,
incredible,
absolutely huge. And I think the thing is as well, it's the Barcelona's from Catalonia, so they're fighting. Well, they want independence from Spain, so it's not just a football game. It's almost like they're wanting to break away from Real Madrid. Yeah. Madrid's I think they're the capital of Spain, but they're one of the biggest cities in Spain, if not. And so there's a lot of political reasons, nationalistic reasons why it's so heated, and again, just from a pure football point of view. That's the pinnacle of a rivalry.
You're looking at
everything. You got everything.
The two biggest clubs in the world for the last 30 years.
Yeah.
And they verse each other, and it's a big thing.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So, I mean, that's our top 10 list for football rivalries. Remember, this is the Conversation Starter Show, so we want you guys to comment below. Let us know what you think we got wrong. Let us know who we left out. There's plenty of other rivalries that we looked at from around the world. There's the Egyptian rivalry, there's a Brazilian rivalry, there's all
you got the London derbies as well,
London
that are heated.
derbies,
so there's plenty that we could have chucked in
there's
here.
There's heaps in there, even Juventus versus Inter's another one's very heated. There's all these rivalries
around
around the world.
Few years, definitely.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. So it's it's something that we're going to miss a few. So we want to hear what you guys think. We want to hear what you guys suggest we do next time. We'd love to hear anything from you guys. Get in the conversation. We'll catch you guys next time.
Thanks, guys.